Let's see if this is gonna load. All right, so I have the comment section that I see. Let's hope that this works because before I had nothing on my screen and then nothing was showing up and apparently everyone was chatting. So let's hope this time it's gonna work. Let me just put this on Do Not Disturb. Hold on. Okay, can someone say something? Let's see if it'll work this time. Someone type something. Whatever. I'm just gonna go and hopefully you're hearing me perfectly. Annoying that we don't have the chat feature, which is kind of like imperative for this live, especially, but I'm gonna do my best. So today we're gonna talk about comparison and perfectionism. I didn't prepare a talk for this today. I knew this was the topic that I wanted to do since last week, and I didn't prepare a talk on it because I wanted to be as off the cuff and just face to face with you guys as possible. Um, Damn, I wish we had the chat feature. It sucks. Anyway, so what's on my heart to talk to you guys today? A few different scenarios where I'm seeing a lot of perfectionism and a lot of comparison just destroying any chance of joy that I'm seeing. And I want to start with, of course, body and weight. Okay. I want you guys to make a promise to stop making jokes and stop sharing memes about gaining weight in the during quarantine, or during this pandemic. What we speak into existence is what we believe. It's what happens. It's our entire energy, our everything. So why are we're pretending that we're laughing at it, but does anyone want to gain weight during the quarantine? Is it fun? Is it funny? Are you enjoying it, or are you just joking about it because that's just what you're used to doing? You're used to joking about weight. And it's not that it's because like it's offensive to other people, because people can go to therapy about it if they're offended, but it's about the fact that what that does to us is it normalizes making fun of our bodies. It normalizes, nobody really gives a shit about the men gaining weight. And if you see in the memes, very few comparatively of those memes are men in those pictures versus women with the weight gain. Like it's so funny. It's so funny. And nobody would be laughing come the end of quarantine and you feel completely out of control. And I think that it further goes to justify not prioritizing our bodies at times like this. It becomes something that's just kind of ridiculous conceptually. Like, I can't bother thinking about that. It's the pandemic. Of course, you could bother thinking about your health during a pandemic. It's when we should the most. Those of us who are struggling through this, we're all, we're trying our best to feel the best we can. It's not more important you feel the best you can on any old day in the same routine you've had for years as it is when everything is crazy and upside down and we need to be with it. We need to be here. When we're focusing on what we're not, we're at our weakest state. Keep like post that everywhere, all over your walls, everywhere. I want you to remember that. When we focus on what we're not, we are at our weakest state. So, seeing these memes, seeing the quarantine 15 and all of that, being women that we all know how hard it is to lose weight. We all know how easy it is to pack it on or retain it. It's not a joking matter. It's just a self-deprecating humor kind of thing. And that chisels away at your own confidence and your own self-worth. Maybe I am glad the comments are off. I can just go off without feeling bad or getting distracted. But no, seriously, I understand why you're joking about it. We're trying to make it lighthearted, blah, blah, blah. But again, why are we speaking that into existence? It's not funny. It's not lighthearted. It would suck if we felt like we regressed during a situation that was so stressful, But on the other side of that coin, regression is not the inability to be completely and utterly normal as you were before this happened now. That's not regression. That is human. You were struggling to figure out how to cut it with your 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, or whatever your schedule is, but like the same humdrum, nothing new, blah, blah, blah. And it was still difficult. People who don't have any health problems, who don't have weight to lose, who don't feel like shit about themselves, they have a hard time sticking to a daily routine. I know it's so easy to think that other people get things flawlessly when you don't, but it's just not the truth. And if your only representation of that being true is social media, then you need to get off social media because it's skewing your view of reality. The reality is people have always kind of struggled to get things under control. And then you take away their normal routine job. You tell them they can't leave their house. You are terrified to leave your house because you could get this awful illness. This has never happened. This in all of human history. Even with like Spanish flu, population was a whole lot smaller. Okay. So let's remember that. Technology wasn't a thing. People weren't so like reliant upon things. So what is happening exactly right now has never happened before. Why? Why are we so hard on ourselves to be a better version of who we were when everything was smooth during this simply because we can't leave our homes? That doesn't make any sense. And let's be honest, it sucks being quarantined, right? It sucks. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a homebody. I love my house. I'm very used to this. So it hasn't been like a tremendous adjustment for me. It's been not seeing the people that I can just so easily see whenever I wanted. That's the hardest part, the uncertainty of family. But for me personally, being home a lot isn't a torturous thing. And even it's hard. You got to put work into it, not enjoying this time, but getting freaking through this time. And that doesn't mean letting everything you hold near and dear to you fly out the window. It doesn't mean, oh, woohoo, world's ending. Let me binge out on everything that hurts me when I have spent so much time and money trying to focus on my body. Enjoy, like getting through this pandemic is, I know what's going to help me the best. I know what's the best thing to do for my body. And I'm going to try my best to stick to that and understand that it's harder right now. So if I am not perfect, it doesn't mean I'm failing. It means I'm getting through this shit the best that I can with as much effort as I'm able to put into it. And we have to be honest with ourselves what that amount of effort we're able to put into it is. Don't go easy on yourself. I'm not going to go harder on you than you should go on yourself. You guys know that. I hold you accountable, but I'm not by any means the drill sergeant type of mentor. So you have to rely on yourself to get through this. And that means adjusting. It means stop acting like anything should be the same. As hard as this is, sit with this uncomfortability. Cry it out if you have to. But you have to understand, it's like moving. I was talking to a client today. I said, it's like moving to a new apartment and expecting to have the same commute, the same everything the same as the last place, but never unpacking any boxes, never opening anything up, never organizing, never setting up the bed, and wanting everything to be like it was before. It's just not possible. The only way to do this and reserve your sanity is to understand that we have to set up a new normal again. We have to act, and you're going to hate this, but we have to act like this is it, like this is going to be forever. Because it won't be forever. But when we act like it will be, we give ourselves the chance to adjust and unpack those boxes in that new apartment and learn the commute to our job from our new apartment. Those adjustments have a chance of happening. God, I do wish I could get some feedback right about now, because I feel like that was like a solid point, is we can hate this all we want. It's not going to change. Now, we don't necessarily need to be like super positive and amped about it. Like, woohoo, this is great. I'm having so much fun in the quarantine. But we don't have to be, in our Italian way of saying it, miserable. We don't have to be miserable either. Okay? So where that's all fine and dandy. What the hell does that mean, Michelle? Right? Stop comparing yourself. I could post till I'm blue in the face, but you have no idea how fake Instagram, Facebook, social media is. Even the body positive influencers you see, the plus size influencers you see, they edit their pictures too. They pose the right way too. I'm not going to knock them for it. Is if you look at a magazine, people pose all kinds of ways, you know? You want a more real looking look, then you got to find a publication like that. I get it. It's a whole industry, you know? Of looking the highlight reel, of looking like a model and having these perfectly curated photos. But understand that if you can't take that in as just art and not reality, and it's affecting your perspective on reality, then it's not healthy for you and it's not necessary. It's not motivation. It's not fitspiration. It's none of that. It is a way to beat yourself up every day, and it is useless. So edit that Instagram, edit that Facebook, get rid of those images where you just get sucked in and your mind immediately goes to, I wish I looked like that. The second you say, I wish I looked like that, that's how you know you got to direct your attention elsewhere. It's even more important than it always is now. Another thing I wanted to bring, this is what I did remember to tell you guys this. I had this planned, is I want you to realize we look at Instagram models, at celebrities, at people who are not naturally the weight that or the body that they are. Whether it's somebody who spends a ton of time, hold on, I'm losing my voice. Whether it's somebody who spends a ton of time working out, eats like barely anything. How about this? Does not have a metabolic, hormonal, or autoimmune illness, because we keep forgetting. We know we have an illness, but we also don't give ourselves credit for the fact that it's different. We blame ourselves for how slow the weight loss is. But anyway, these people that we admire, that we're like, I wish I could look like that we try so hard to look like, that we work out like crazy, or we diet like crazy, or we just binge and beat ourselves up like crazy, comparing ourselves to. That is not their natural body. That is not the body they have if they just carry on about their day. The people that just carry on about their day and, just our regular average build don't have abs. They don't have an ass that looks like a freaking giant GMO peach with 2 stick legs. Like, they don't look like that. They're just like average bodies. Whoever put the fat, good, bad, skinny, whatever labels, that's been over time. But just like they had the power to decide what those labels are, we have the power to decide what those labels mean. And to me, they mean jack shit. I don't care. Okay, I look like crap. Okay, that's your own perception of me. But I'm not going to look at someone else and not say, oh, they look great, because I'm too busy saying, I wish I could look like that, because it's just not reality. Even if we wanted to work out 24/7, diet like crazy, one, there would be a deeper reason that I'd want to look into. Two, it's not sustainable, even for those people. Every fit model you see right now on Instagram, give them a couple years, maybe not a couple, give them like 10 years and see if they still give a shit enough like they do now. It's just not real. Don't compare yourself to something false. We are all smart people. And by the way, I get caught up on that still. Like, when I'm telling you guys, like, get away from someone as soon as you start saying, I wish I could look like that, because it's human. I catch myself on my explore page, and because my phone's apparently always listening to me. I either talk or I post about Kardashians, let's say, and then I'll get a ton of their pictures. I know their bodies are manufactured. I know that is not the stock model, but I'm still sitting there like, oh man, my ass is so flat now. Like, now I have weight loss skin. Like, I'm finding it more as I'm getting older. The skin that I thought that I avoided when I had initially lost my weight. Now that I turned 30, gravity's like, hey girl, we're going to pull this down, and I'm noticing these pockets of skin like that. And I'm looking at these Kardashians. I'm like, oh my God, she's like 40 years old. And like, and then I have to remember, because it's their job. It's literally their job to maintain that facade, and they have a ton of money to do it. And it is what they're dedicated 24/7 to. And that is never what I want. Do any of you want to dedicate your life 24/7 to looking a certain way? With kids, with partners, with homes, with career aspirations, with relationship aspirations? Would you rather spend 24 hours a day being consumed with the way that you look because it's your job to always look perfect? Hell no. Hell no. We all want to look like that naturally. So we take the unrealistic image and we make it even more unrealistic because we want to just be blessed with that. Doesn't exist. And making ourselves feel bad about it, I've had to say to myself, like, what are you doing, you jackass? And like scroll away from it and remind myself, because it will suck you in. So the only way to get around that is not to just say, oh, it's great, everything's fine and dandy, I believe her now. And then we get off this live and you go scroll on Instagram. The goal is that forever, if you get sucked into that moment, recognize it and get the hell away from there, because that's what you can do to help. Okay? That's the big thing, is like, we don't even compare ourselves to reality. Like, we don't even compare us. I could see if there was like this girl on the beach and you were sitting there and you were looking at her and she was like, she had a little bit of a belly indent, she's thin, but just like average, kind of like, I hate it. What is it called? Skinny fat? I hate that term. I hate that term so much. But you guys know what I mean by it, right? Like skinny fat. That's what we consider average bodies, by the way. That's the shitty label we stick on normal bodies. Maybe not us personally, but society. I could understand you saw someone on the beach walking like that and you were like, oh, I wish I looked like her or whatever. Then that's just a deep-rooted issue in general. But we look at people that have unattainable bodies and we torture ourselves chasing it or comparing ourselves to it. And now maybe you don't look at the Instagram model, right? Maybe you look at the organization. Maybe you look at the Instagram moms. Maybe you look at the women who have gotten pregnant when you haven't. Maybe you're looking at people who somehow cook a new low-carb meal for themselves that looks like it deserves a Michelin star every day of the week. Maybe a couple looks like they're really in love on Instagram and you have not even talked to your partner in like days, even though you're quarantined. There are instances all around us. We have to understand the distinction between what we wish we truly had more of and how other people having the image of that doesn't mean they actually have it. And even if they do have it, it doesn't mean that that's why you don't. And it doesn't mean that the majority has that. You know how many times I hear, I just want to be normal? I just want to be normal. I just want to be normal. We're so much more normal than we give ourselves credit for. We're super normal. You know what's not normal? Perfection. Perfection is not normal. It's not authentic. It's not common. It's not natural. It doesn't exist. All right, so that's my big spiel on comparison is if you look at things that you do not have, and instead of thinking, let me make a list, let me give myself time, let me tackle one thing at a time, let me grow. This is my goal to be this way. And instead you think of it as an example of someone else having it is a reminder of what you don't have. You're always going to be miserable. What you find yourself jealous of should be your inspiration. Because if someone else can, and I'm not talking about like bodies are different because, hey, we're all here, right? But when it comes to the things people have, the confidence, the happiness, the ability to be in a picture in a bathing suit and feel good about it, the home life, feeling good about whatever the hell your reality is, all of those things. It's important to feel good about that shit, y'all. It's what makes everything we go through easier when we stop treating ourselves like shit. And that starts with cutting out the perfectionism, the comparison, okay? So now that spiel's over, do you guys understand how well you're doing? Because that's the other thing is I want you guys to literally write down at the end of the day, think back and write a list of the things you actually got done, that you actually completed. Start with work, every little minuscule detail of the things that you did. I want you to list that shit out on paper, because I guarantee you when you read it back to yourself, you're going to say, "Oh, I had an average day. Okay, I did stuff." It's like when I tell you guys, if you feel overwhelmed, write down what it is you're overwhelmed with, and it always looks like it's less scary when you do that, right? Same thing. If you're like, well, what did I do today? I'm so unproductive. I'm not perfect. I dropped the ball. I want you to go back and write out the things you did. And then when you're done at the bottom, I want you to write out how many days this quarantine has been going on. I mean, you don't literally have to write it out, but I want you to remember that that is your list of your day to day, not because you called hooky from work, not because it's an average day at work for those of you who are still working, but because this is crazy right now. And it is expected that you are not just operating in the same way you were before it all happened. It's like getting an injury and expecting yourself, after you've been laying down for a couple days to be like, you know what, I don't know why I'm not just as capable as I was before. Well, nobody, you got to heal. Nobody can tell you when. You just got to kind of adjust to your reality. So let's look at what we tend to consider imperfect and what we beat ourselves up about. Aside from body stuff, scheduling, finding a routine, that has been the topic du jour. Okay. And honestly, do not expect to give yourself the same routine. And I've done a few videos on this recently, so I'm not going to get too in depth, but do not give yourself or expect yourself to follow the same routine you would if you had your old schedule, your old, day-to-day structure back, because nothing's the same. And we have to accept that. And we have to realize that there's a lot of life that can happen when we accept that nothing's the same, but we're finding our new normal. The strong adapt, guys, but adapting never feels good. It gets you somewhere good, but it's a lot of treading unknown waters. It's a lot of pushing yourself. That adjustment, I by no means mean to make this sound like it's an easy feat, because I know that it's not. And your anxiety and stress is valid, but you cannot just be waiting for this all to end. You're going to get depressed. You're going to fall off everything you know. You're going to not give a shit about diet. It is just what's going to happen. You need to accept this is a crazy time and we have to recalibrate and find our new normal. I had a couple weeks ago, when I was really going over like daily structure and stuff, I was getting a bunch of messages about like, well, why can't I just schedule it in my phone and follow it? I never know why I can't, blah, blah, blah. And the topic kept becoming that, hey, there's nothing wrong with not doing it like everyone else. And everyone else is a dangerous friggin' topic, because I bet everyone else, if you really want to go there, has no way to daily structure. They just kind of run on autopilot. That's what you want to do, be everyone else, fine. But you hate that, right? You don't want to be on autopilot. You want to be organized, methodical, be in charge of your day. So if that being said, why does it have to be any particular format? We're all so different. I like this example. When I worked at the bakery, the last bakery that I worked at in the industry, I wanted a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday job. I was burnt out. I was physically and mentally burnt out, underpaid, undervalued, just exhausted, getting sicker. The commute was hell. It was like 2 hours away sometimes. Those of you in New Jersey, I drove from Boonton to Jersey City during the summer when they were working road construction on, what's it, I-9? 1 and 9. Yeah. So long story short, oh my God, I just want to get a new job. I want to get a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. I want it to be quiet and I want to be organized. I'm going to pre-prep my meals because at that other job, I had no schedule. Like it was crazy, no structure. So I would order food from the nearest place if I had the money to. If not, I was really poor. I would go to the bodega and get like a flat press sandwich for $1.80, like one of those. Like if I found change in my car, it was literally that bad. And I thought the answer to all of my problems was structure. The structure of 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, being able to prep my meals. It sounded like a dream. It sounded like I could finally have the life, the body, everything I wanted. I pinned it so much on structure. Let me tell you what, I got that job and I was miserable. Absolutely miserable. More miserable there than I ever was working at the last bakery that I had left. And it was 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, you know, just, was it business casual? You know, I said to myself, I don't want to wear freaking chef pants with stains on them to work, my hair in a bun with a bandana. Like, I want to look like a presentable person. Live to regret that one. I was like, this sucks. Like, week 2, I was like, I don't want to put makeup on. And then the assistant VP came in and told me that I had to look nicer. Fun fact. It was a really shitty place to work. I'll give it that. So, my point to this story, though, is as I'm sitting there one day, I had this freaking awakening. And I was like, my problem is that I'm trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. I'm never going to be the 9 to 5, Monday through Friday type. I'm never going to be someone that is happy doing the same thing every day. That is just who I am. And why do I have to sit here and be sick every day, forcing myself to do this? I can't stand the monotony of routine. That's what led me to start finding ways to work on my own, to work from home. But the one thing that I learned is it was my strength. I didn't do things like other people. I would never be the type who would be okay doing that. And yes, when I was younger, I really, really wanted to be just like everyone else. I wanted to blend. I wanted to be content with that 9 to 5 and have it go smoothly and just live a normal, unexciting, regular life. That became the dream. It wasn't for me. And chasing that dream made me more miserable than ever. So I want you guys to think about what's you. And that doesn't mean change your career. It means that when you're trying to figure out your personality and who you are during the day, and you're not someone who wakes up early, works out intensely, makes a perfect chia seed smoothie with perfect macros, and then goes upstairs and takes a shower, puts on a full face of makeup, and gets online for Zoom for work. If that is not you, that is okay. If that is you, that is okay. But there is no standard. The perfection that we're searching for is someone else's perfection, maybe. But what is it that you want to be perfect? Do you really, like, why do you want to follow that schedule? Is it because you want to have more food options available for you? Okay, awesome. Figure out how to do that in a way you like. If that means you get a sudden burst of energy at 11 p.m. and you get up and make bread, get up and make bread. It's the freaking apocalypse out there. Who gives a shit? No one's taking points off because it wasn't done by 8. You know, if you want to sleep in till noon on a Sunday, it doesn't mean you're a pile of crap because you did it. If you want to have a day where you clean your house top to bottom and then for the next 4 days in a row, you don't do shit. Okay. Figure out what you want to do. Because like, here's the thing. When I say that, you might worry, and immediately your reaction, much like with food, is to say, but I can't just be a lazy pile of garbage all day and not do anything. Dollars to donuts, if you gave yourself the freedom, you would drive yourself nuts if you sat there and literally did nothing every single day, day in and day out. I'm willing to bet you do more than you think every day. And I'm willing to bet that if you allowed yourself to not be so stressed, that you probably would have more energy and wouldn't want to just be sitting there. You'd want to get up and do stuff and be bored. Don't immediately think you can't trust yourself unless you are constantly busy, because you think that the successful people you're looking at must constantly be busy too. That's just not reality. Okay? Figure out what you basically want to get done every day. And when you get done, you get done. The luxury of what's going on right now, the indulgence of what's going on right now is that you can pretty much get away with anything. You want to go to work without makeup on? You want to, stumble out of bed at noon and finish a paper and then go back to sleep for 2 hours? You want to make a disaster out of your kitchen testing a recipe and maybe clean it tomorrow? You can do that anyway, but especially now. Like, who gives a crap? If you encounter someone who judges you for not having a spotless kitchen during the quarantine, why do you want to be friends with this person? They have a stick up their ass, clearly. I don't want to hang out with someone like that. I'm like, ew, okay, come clean it for me. Like, start looking at other people like the idiots instead of yourself. It helps. When you can recognize what you do to yourself versus what you think is being done, that's when you realize how much power you have. You have power to change how you feel about things. You have power to change the narrative of every situation and create your own reality. Because before you tell me I'm nuts, is that not what we do already? We create our own reality. We do it every day. We do it every day. When we get on social media, we create our own version of a reality that must exist. So why? If you realize that you do this, can you not create the reality you want? I'm not saying, I want a solid gold toilet. That's not going to happen. I'm saying that turn the reality what you want and say, it's not my job to be, Miss Susie Homemaker and get out of this feeling like I am my best, most productive, thinnest, healthiest, most glowy self. That is not reality. You are the only one expecting that of yourself. If you encounter anyone who makes you feel bad about not being that way, tell them they suck and they should go lick a New York City doorknob. No, I'm just kidding. It's a little bit mean. It's not entirely untrue, though. So normally, I would ask you to ask any questions, give feedback, and I would go through the comments and answer them back. But we have none right now, and I have to imagine someone has said something by now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log off of here, and I'm going to read and try my best to reply to all the comments by tomorrow morning. And if you have any feedback, questions, anything, I'm a huge feedback queen. This has been killing me with the silence. I want to hear what you think. Even if you think I'm an asshole, I want to hear what you think. So text me, and then let's talk. If not, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your night, and I hope that you are generally kinder to yourself going forward. And if you need help doing that, I am here, excited to help you do that. Okay? So don't be a stranger. Enjoy your night. Bye.